People, One Piece right now just did a game-changing move. Chapter 985, I'm not gonna lie. Reading this chapter, I'm like, yo, we really about to do this right now? It's really about to get this freaking real. I couldn't even believe it. I ain't gonna lie. If you want to say unexpected, that would probably be an understatement, because I did not expect what went down toward the end of the chapter and what Kaido did. And it's crazy because it's like we have this dramatic, oh my gosh, what the hell just happened moment, and then towards the end it was kind of like it ended off in a gag. Like, yo, that was some serious shit, folks. Like, wow, Kaido. I knew it. I knew you was sick of that little pest ass dude, that little treacherous piece of garbage. I'm just wondering, fam, what took so long, bro? Like, why do you take so long to get rid of this disgusting animal? And Oda, thank you. Just thank you. Itadakimasu. We are eating people. One Piece 985. Let's go. That One Piece greatness. Let's talk some One Piece, folks.
I say we gonna do what we do, no matter how you move, make your move. That's how it be, though.
Seriously, this chapter of One Piece yet again, and about freaking time, to be honest with you, this moment came, because you could see, and I've been saying it already for, I don't even know, maybe a couple years now at this point, that Oda made sure to cement that there would not be one person that would sympathize, that would feel bad, that would anything if anything happened to Orochi, because every single moment we've ever seen this character, whether it be in the manga or in the anime, every single moment was dedicating to cementing that this dude is despicable, not a redeeming quality, not a redeeming moment, not anything that'll make you say like, ay bendito, poor Orochi. No, fuck Orochi. And this chapter showed that Oda really meant, fam, fuck you, this is your time to go. I was just like, So the chapter starts off, and before we get into actual content, I just gotta say that color page, I loved it. And I rarely talk about color pages here, but I absolutely love that color page of Luffy and Kid on those giant eagles or whatever the heck they were, those birds. I was like, yo, that shit looks dope. And Kid always looks really dope in color. Like, he has a sick design in it of himself, but looking at that color page, I can't help but admire it. So I had to talk about it at least just for a smidge of a second. Like, Oda, with all the work you put in, on top of that, you give us gorgeous color pages like the one that we got with this chapter. But it kicks off with Yamato basically once again telling Luffy, yo, I wanna rock with you. I wanna join up with your crew, with your ship, and do the deed. And every time I see Yamato, I'm just like cementing even further. Like, I feel as though there's no ifs, ands, or buts about Yamato, and I hope I'm not wrong, but I really truly believe that she's going to be the next Straw Hat. First of all, the community is on fire, and popularity does play a factor in bringing in these characters. But like I said in my last video, it's straight up mirroring. If Luffy's journey up to this point has severely mirrored Goldie Rogers, then Yamato is straight up a part of that mirroring. We're towards the end. There's still quite a ways to go in terms of, like, you know, the amount of chapters to wrap up Wano and shit like that, but we're towards the end. There's not many more islands to go to. Like, you know, let's just say even there's a handful of them. Let's just say there's gonna be 5 more major arcs. That's still towards the end of Luffy's journey, and similar to how Odin joined up with Roger toward the end of his journey, it could be the same thing with Yamato. And also, she's a baddie. She got strength behind her, so it's not like we're picking up a weakling. I mean, this is Kaido's kid, for crying out loud. And also to go, you know, coincide with everything about, like, you know, how a Straw Hat, every single Straw Hat has some kind of messed up or sad past. Yamato, I mean, what more tragic than her father beating the dog shit out of her since she was younger and shackling her up? Because we see in this chapter, we find out that those are the same cuffs, I believe, that the Udon prisoners had, if I'm not mistaken, that basically if you try to leave the island, they're gonna explode. And right there, like, you could argue like, oh boy, Yamato got some daddy issues, whatever you want to say, but at the end of the day, I got nothing but mad props and respect for Yamato, because Kaido's a scary dude. Regardless, you know, yeah, you can say Orochi ain't shit to him or whatever, but look what he did to Orochi. Look what he'll do to anybody. So I don't think he would hesitate to even off his own child. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's been whipping her ass and doing fucked up shit since she was younger. So mad props to Yamato, still standing by her ideology, still wanting to be the legendary Kozuki cranky Odin. Like, you could call it daddy issues all day if you want to, but I rocks with Yamato. And again, I think that this chapter was even pushing forward more of her potentially being a Straw Hat. I mean, I think of like, you know, just think back to like a arc like Thriller Bark, for example, the arc that Brook joined up. It was like early on where there was talks of him joining, then we went through a long arc, and then by the end of it, Brook joined. I think Yamato would be perfect, but like I've said before, I take Yamato over Carrot. I'll take Yamato, and Jinbei's dope and all that shit, but I always felt like Jinbei, he had his own crew, he was doing his own thing. Him being a Straw Hat is dope, but he feels like a veteran. Like that, I feel like almost, not to the same extent, but like if Rayleigh was to join the Straw Hats, that's kind of how I feel about Jinbei, because he's such an OG. So getting somebody like Yamato to join, again, another female, we've had only 2 females almost the whole freaking journey, adding another one in there, it'd be nice to even things out. And I ain't gonna lie, I'm just so freaking hype over her. And Luffy wants to help her take off the cuffs. He's like, yo, but I gotta make sure, like, you really gonna rock with me, you really gonna help out, because we doing this regardless. And I'm just hoping that this is not some type of betrayal mechanism, because you gotta think, right, and I like to get a little bit into the minds of these characters. If she's had issues with her father, right, and she's done these things acting out, so to speak, like following Odin's journey and shit like that, and so far, like, she hasn't given me any reason to not believe her or anything like that, but if there's a possibility somewhere within her that she wants his approval, she wants Kaido to look at her in a certain fashion, like, yo, that's my father. Again, we haven't seen any signs of it, but I just want to throw this out there, this idea. Who knows? There's a possibility that in the 9th hour, she could say, you know what, I'm gonna betray this motherfucker. I want my father to recognize me and think I'm great. So there's always that possibility you gotta keep in mind. Again, so far there's no sign of her doing that, but if you look at like her having these issues with her father and her acting out and shit like that, it could be because she wants acceptance and approval. And what more acceptance and approval could you get than to take out one of his fiercest or biggest threats or enemies, or threat to his kingdom for that matter. So I'm gonna keep an eye out on Yamato, but again, for the most part, I'm liking where it's going with her. Then we cut to Kaido and Big Mom and this big festival, and I ain't gonna lie, Big Mom, she looking like a snack. No. See Kaido and Big Mom together, first of all, it's a scary sight, and not even just because like they're 2 gigantic monsters or whatever, but like, you know what the hell they're capable of. So seeing them together, I'm already a little bit like, ooh, scary shit there, fam. But then Kaido starts to get into like some of his gripes with even the world government, which if there's a all-out war, I could still see Kaido and Big Mom working on the side of the pirates to fight the world government. Like, they may want to be rulers and shit like that, but based on what he said in this chapter regarding like, yo, the world government's lost their minds abolishing the Shichibukai system, the warlords and stuff like that, like, he has a serious gripe with them. They don't want it. Like, just imagine if the pirates really wanted to, and it's starting to look that way, if they actually teamed up together, Kaido and Big Mom, the same way they're doing that with some of the other people, it would be over. It would be curtains probably for the world government, because yes, they have a strong crew and whatnot, but just imagine, like, when they went up against Whitebeard, it was already a struggle, and if it wasn't for the betrayal of one of his children, Whitebeard, he could have, you know what I'm saying, could have went bad for the world government. It would have not been the ending that they had in particular. So having Kaido and Big Mom there, and the plans that they have right now, it's interesting, and I'm curious to see what he's going to do moving forward, if at all anything can be done, considering this, we're in the midst of this arc and the attack from the Straw Hats and all that shit on Kaido's crew and whatnot. I'm wondering if there's a possibility that, again, we could get some type of war where the world government, because isn't the CP0 lurking around and shit like that? So I'm curious to see where that's going to go, but it's still interesting to note that he's had enough of the world government, and him and Big Mom is like, yo, the One Piece is going to be ours, and I'm like, woo, okay, boomer. No. Because you gotta think, like, they're probably already at their wit's end and frustrated of like, we want this shit. It's been how long that they've been rocking the seas, and Roger's been gone for so long. Them teaming up together, it's probably a desperate measure at this particular point, that they want their goals to be met by any means necessary. And them saying like they want the One Piece, I was just like, well, who the hell is gonna stop them? I mean, Luffy, you better be prepared. There better be a Gear 5th or some shit in there, because I don't know how you're gonna be able to muster up against these two. Because it gets even darker, because Kaido and Big Mom are like, the ancient weapons will cause chaos and bring forth the world that they yearn for, because basically they want a destructive world. They want just chaos and crime. They want true piracy, and they want to turn Wano into a piracy place, a safe haven for piracy. So essentially, they just want like absolute chaos. And in their mind, similar to like a Blackbeard per se, that they think of it as freedom, the ability to do whatever the hell you want when you want. That is the dream, as chaotic as it sounds. And again, if they're after the One Piece, they're after the ancient weapons, they need to be dealt with immediately. Like, this all has to end in Wano with Kaido and them, whether Kaido survives or not, because I mean, who the hell is gonna kill him? This dude jumped from Sky Island and survived. Like, how do you kill somebody like that? I don't know. And right now it just popped into my mind, it would be a dope moment if something, because Kaido does care about his child, clearly at the end of this chapter, saying that Yamato is going to be the Shogun, and we'll get to that in a second. But it would be an interesting moment if something happens where Yamato's life is in jeopardy and Kaido jumps in the way, because like, thinking back, somebody like maybe a Akainu could possibly kill Kaido. Like, just trying to think outside the box of like, well, who could do it? And you know, similar to like a Whitebeard or some shit, who knows, maybe Kaido could be the Whitebeard of Wano, where he's going to die in a triumphant way. He's done some fucked up shit, how he did Odin and stuff like that, but I mean, look what he did to Orochi in this chapter. You got to give a little bit of like, alright, you somewhat redeemed yourself. You did some fuck shit back in the day, but alright, whatever. Because Kaido's like, yo, we're gonna turn Wano into New Onagashima. Basically, he's proclaiming he's taking complete control and doing whatever the hell he wants at this point. It's been long enough. And the part of the chapter that I think everybody was just like celebrating, it was a celebration when he's like, we're gonna turn this part in particular into a lawless land. And Orochi's like, yo, fam, what do you mean? This is my place. And wham! I was like, Kaido, why? I'm just wondering, why so long? What took so long? Was it that, you know, I get into it in a real world standpoint, maybe he got his woman back, Big Mom, and she was kind of whispering in his ear, yo, that motherfucker Orochi is an ugly motherfucker, why don't you kill him? I don't know what the hell took him so long. Why now? What's the reasoning behind him doing this to Orochi and betraying Orochi? But why not? And I'm wondering if Orochi is really dead. I'm really hoping that they're not going to pull some BS and like, because of his own fruit, he still survived somehow or something like that. Like, you getting beheaded by Kaido should be no ifs, ands, or buts. You're dead. And I'm pretty sure that Oda's going to keep him dead, but there's just so many questions. Again, the biggest question is why? Why now? Like, you've been rocking with him since the days of Odin for 20 plus years. What the hell changed your mind to say, you know what, I'm gonna kill him now? I mean, even if Orochi said like, hey, this is my land or whatever, like, I mean, I guess the biggest thing you could say is because Orochi is like, yo, this is my land, what are you doing? And Kaido doesn't want nobody to detest where he's trying to take all of this. So yeah, very, very interesting stuff, to be honest with you. And again, another random thought, but while I have them, I want to throw them out there, a theory. I still believe that at a certain point, Big Mom is going to betray him. They had turmoil in the past for a reason. We don't know exactly what went down, but I'm almost certain at some given point, whether it's Big Mom that's pushing Kaido to make all these moves and shit like that, she's doing it with a goal in mind, and I think in the end she's gonna flip on him, and it's gonna be all out hell on New Onagashima, aka Wano. And at this point, like, you know, if Orochi's dead, all his people, like, because Kaido's making the declaration, either join me or die, try fight me or die. Like, who the hell got the balls to try and face Kaido? Like, really? Like, yeah, I think everybody's just gonna join you, fam. And this is the part of the chapter, like I mentioned earlier, where it does show that Kaido cares about Yamato to a certain weird way. I mean, yeah, he's done several fucked up things, beating her and all sorts of shit, which again, you never know, it could be lies. Maybe she put those cuffs on herself, and maybe he never put a hand on her a day in his life. Who the hell knows? Because for all we know, we're being tricked, and that's not Kaido's kid at all. Like, think about it, when Yamato had the mask on is when the Tobiropo actually seen. So, and to this point, Kaido continues to say, my son. So imagine we're being bamboozled, and this whole time that's really not Kaido's son. That's actually like somebody in disguise and is trying to maneuver around. Like, that'd be a crazy twist. Just throwing that in there. But then the end of the chapter is Yamato saying, as if, you old bastard, as they're running towards them, and Luffy saying, yo, where's Momo? Because of course Momo's still strapped up there. Like, I wonder if Kaido's gonna go through with the execution. Does he really care at this point? Is he gonna try to make amends for the fuckboy shit that he did back in the day to Odin by not killing his son and saying, yo, from now on, you're gonna work for me. This is going to be my redemption in a way for what I did to your father and lying to him. And again, why roll with Orochi all this time? I don't know. So many questions. Curious what you guys think about all this. For starters, any merit to maybe that's not actually Kaido's kid? Yamato is not actually the son and all that shit. Maybe it's somebody totally different that's playing everybody like a fiddle. Also, again, why now? Why did Kaido decide to kill Orochi now after 20 plus years of working with him? Is it just because he doesn't want nobody nobody going against him, and he doesn't want like a political uprising. But again, Kaido could kill every single person, including Orochi, of Orochi's army. Like, questions. And where do you think all this shit is gonna go? Like, I ain't gonna lie, this chapter was a chapter for the ages. We've been waiting long enough to see Orochi get what's coming to him after all the terrible stuff he's done all these years, and it finally happened, baby. Orochi, my good man, rest in piss, you pile of dog shit, disgusting little cretin motherfucker. Ooh, that felt good to say. And your overall thoughts and expectations for One Piece chapter 986 and beyond. This will be a chapter to remember, folks, and probably a year from now when the anime adapts it, it's gonna be hype. But that is all I have for this one. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you liked anything I had to say or enjoyed the video, drop me a like. I'd greatly appreciate it. And if you want more from me, make sure to subscribe. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram. Hit that bell to get all notifications. And if you want to follow any of my other social media, links in the description below. I'm FUNGUS, and as always, people, have an awesome day. And remember the golden rule. Anime and manga for life, boy. Have an awesome day. Peace in, and once again, Orochi, my good man, rest in piss, you piece of shit! Have an awesome day, people.
Everything good always comes to an end. If you stab me in my back, we can never make amends. Trying to move to acceptance, hard to accept it. Mistakes like mirrors, gotta reflect it. I don't wanna fucking leave, but I gotta leave. Leave the maybes to the crazies. Maybe one day there I go admitting something in a subtle way. No more copies, leave without a trace.